GTL, they have a guaranteed issue window from 64.5 to 65.5. So on those initial appointments where you're talking, about which route the client's going to go, and then you guys are leaning towards the Medicare Advantage, this is the time to enroll those clients on those plans because they're as healthy as they're going to get that day.
Yeah.
At that age, this is going to be the best time to get them through underwriting and pass with flying colors because there's no questions, it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Now, something I like to mention too, because a lot of people haven't been integrating this hospital indemnity plans into their product portfolios already, is that if you do have to underwrite them, very simple. There's 5 questions on the application for the hospital indemnity aspect. And then one of my favorite riders is their lump sum cancer rider that adds just another 5 questions. So that just quickly being able to put the client through there, check through to see if they're going to even qualify for some of those riders, makes it very simple for the agent and very simple for the client to understand, hey, this is something you're not going to be able to get. You just had cancer last year or something like that. But they have very short look back periods, which is very nice for that underwriting. I don't want to get into too many of those boring details, but we can always talk to you a little bit more, especially if you've got the GTL contract with us. We can go through case by case of how that would affect your clients. But another thing I like to bring up with GTL is their longevity and how long they've been in the market doing exactly this and leading the way. So they started around 2008 and they've been leading the market, like I said, since that time. They came out with this product style first. They come out with it and improve it. Where a lot of times when we see these new products, maybe something that was very popular got taken away. All GTL ever does is add additional benefits. So with this style that they're doing with the hospital indemnity plans, a lot of people from the outside of carriers, when I say a lot of people, see this plan and try to mirror exactly what GTL is doing.
Yes.
Because how is GTL so successful? They've been leading the way and doing this for so long that the other carriers come in, see this, and say, how can we make our plan more like this? But GTL still stands out from the rest of everybody else. So that's kind of my quick spiel on why GTL specifically. But they've got a lot of plan specific stuff as well that will kind of get you more familiarized with why this is such a good plan.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I've heard that GTL actually has never had a rate increase. They've only had rate decreases sometimes, which is kind of unheard of. So that alone, for peace of mind, I think that that's a really incredible point to add as well, and something you can kind of assure your clients on as well.
Yes, so that's a huge aspect, and I'm super glad you brought that back up, because something with whenever I'm talking about products and product portfolios, a lot of times the first question I get is, when did they take their last rate increase? What was it? What does that look like? And GTL is exactly that. It never had a rate increase. And with this Elite Advantage Plus plan, they've actually lowered premiums. So they went the opposite way. Everything was working so well that everybody likes this plan. They made it more affordable so more people can have access to this coverage.
Alrighty. So this is just the availability. If you want to take a look at there, a lot of times we get questions. This is available in my state. It's available in most states, as you can see. If the Elite product isn't available in your state, probably will be eventually, maybe. I don't know how that stuff works. You'd probably know that a little bit better. But there's a GTL hospital indemnity plan offered in almost everyone. Of course, California is not going to have one because they don't do the ancillary products there. But yeah, you can see on the map if your state has that new plan or just the Advantage Plus plan as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, just because the Elite plan's out doesn't mean the Advantage plan went away. So if your state did get the Elite plan, that's going to be the new plan because it's one step better than it was before. But if you had just the Advantage plan, that plan's still around and it's going to be still around. It's not going anywhere. This is just the new plan that they came out with. And something I like to highlight too when we look at these availability maps is the amount of stuff that's on the GTL contract already built in for you. So GTL, very few states anymore, I think, have the Med Sup. It's not mainly a thing that we talk about too much with them. But the hospital indemnity is the top-notch product, which is obviously why we're here today. They have the cancer product that's also on theirs. That's a standalone cancer plan. They have the home health care plan and a final expense plan, all built into that same contract. And it's just going to be state by state, case by case of where it's available. But that's what my team's for. We can help take a look at that and say, hey, you have the hospital indemnity, but here's what else is available to you. So definitely something we can kind of go over in that follow-up call like we talked about.
Absolutely. Alrighty, let's dive into these base plan details.
Yes, so the base plan, again, the first thing I'm going to highlight is that lower premiums. It's up to 14% lower. And they got rid of the application fee. That is something that's kind of that hiccup initially of, hey, there's a $20 application fee. Well, man,
yeah.
You know.
It's not the world's biggest deal, but it's actually pretty convenient whenever they take it away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a ho-hum thing, but it's actually a big deal to a lot of people where it's built into the quote now. So with the lower premiums built into the quote, it's not noticeable anymore.
Yeah.
But for the base plan, they came out with more plan options. So now, or I guess I'll start previously, they had 1, 3, 6, and 10-day plans, which was a lot of customizable options. But now, again, as GTL does, has made it even better. They've gone with 1 and then 3 through 10, and they even have a 15-day option if you're going to be in the hospital for a while. So with these kind of new additional options that they have, you find any Medicare Advantage plan out there, they're going to have a day option that lines up exactly with that. And that's what really gives GTL that kind of step above the rest is regardless of who you're writing them on Medicare Advantage, you're going to find something that lines up dollar for dollar, day for day with that plan.
Yes.
Now, something also I like to highlight here is the hospital benefit. So when that kicks in, previously that was 12 hours. So you're in the hospital for 12 hours, then they'd start saying, okay, claim can be paid now. They've moved that to 6 hours, which is unheard of because most carriers either had 24 hours or they mirrored GTL and went with 12.
Yeah.
So dropping down to 6 hours in the hospital, think about how long it takes just to get discharged from the hospital. You're there for a couple hours just doing that paperwork or just that processing time of that happening. We all know nothing moves super fast in hospitals and the more and more people that are in the hospital, things slow down even more.
Right.
So we know that that's a huge addition to add the 6 hours. But they also have different benefits, you know, such as like the observation care. So that's something where how those were coded by the hospital. So like when they're going in, plugging in how much you owe them, they're talking about the different codes. They go in and code something observation care that's going to stay and still work for this plan. But again, you get 6 hours and you're getting that full benefit amount there. So with those kind of different options, they have a few other things that I know we look into, like the Ask Mayo Clinic online.
Yes.
But Sadie, you kind of know a little bit more about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you've had the Advantage Plus plan before, then you might be familiar with this Ask Mayo. It's really cool. Essentially what it is, and it's something that comes, it's a benefit with it. It's not a rider. Essentially what it is these beneficiaries will have access to a nurse hotline from the Mayo Clinic, and 24/7. Doesn't take off on holidays or anything like that. And essentially what it is it's a program where you or it's a system. It's you type in your symptoms, you put in symptoms. Talking is hard. You type in your symptoms and it will essentially kind of give you a light diagnosis or not even a diagnosis, like guidance on what to do next. Maybe you should go to the hospital for this. Maybe you should take ibuprofen. I don't know. But that's essentially what it is. So it can give your beneficiaries a peace of mind if they're, you know, up at night and they're not freaking themselves out on WebMD like we all do sometimes.
That's what I was thinking. Yep. I was like, think of this. First step, instead of going to WebMD and getting random information that is true to somebody out there with those symptoms, right. Ask somebody at Mayo Clinic. There's a reason people go to the Mayo Clinic when stuff is wrong.
That's true.
This is a good reason to be able to lean on the experts.
Yes, you have the experts right there at your fingertips. And then also I want to hit on this mental health benefits because we're kind of starting to see mental health sort of care stream into Medicare plans and you know, that being a benefit in some places. So I wanted to highlight it on here. It is a benefit, so it's something that will be used instead of maybe a hospital benefit or something like that. But essentially what it is it will pay $175 per day up to 7 days if you're confined to a hospital because of a mental or nervous disorder. So that's something that's new that I think is really cool and worth highlighting as well.
I love that, especially coming out of the last couple of years that we've had.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little stressed, but sometimes you get pushed past that limit.
Yeah.
And this is built in to be able to help people.
Yes.
Which is, at the end of the day, what we always want our agents to be doing is helping the clients.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that really helps those clients that are struggling with mental issues.
For sure. Seniors really got
it.
hit hard during COVID and stuff like that. So this is just, this is just an included benefit now, which is, I think is really cool. So, alrighty, so now that's our base plan. Those are the included benefits that you get. Now let's go ahead and talk about riders. And before we talk about the specific ones, one reason why we love this plan is because it is incredibly customizable. Offering a GTL Elite plan, because of the riders, opens up so much opportunity for coverage, different kind of coverage, all in just this one plan with those additional riders. So the riders alone are one reason why we absolutely love this plan.
For sure. And they've made some really great additions to new riders that weren't previously on the plan. So kind of want to highlight those ones first. The skilled nursing rider is one that's new to this plan, to the Elite plan here. But basically what they had is they had this available, but they've added different benefits that are now on there. So this is one that can really work with the Med Sup clients as well, because they have two options. Option 1 is going to be more for their Med Sup people, and option 2 is going to be more for the Medicare Advantage clients. Basically, option 1 gives them days 1 through 50, and then there's $100 to $220 per day benefit that goes to them for that skilled nursing facility. Now for the more Medicare Advantage side, it's going to be for days 21 through 100, same benefit amounts, that $100 to $220. But basically what this allows them to do is have something that's more built directly towards the seniors that are using either Medicare Advantage or Medicare supplements.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that this one's going to be completely new is the outpatient therapy rider. So this one, they'll pay a benefit amount of $50 per day, and they can choose from physical therapy, occupational therapy, or even speech therapy. So this is something where they get a certain amount of days throughout the year. So with this, it's either 15 or 30 days per calendar year that they're covered. But this also even includes the chiropractors, which is huge, something I'm a big advocate for. I've got a terrible back. I constantly telling everyone to go to my chiropractor. Ask for recommendations later. But it's $50 up to $50 per day and 5 days per calendar year. Now that might not sound like a lot of times to go to the chiropractor throughout the year, but think about how it's in addition to what they're already paying. So their insurance might cover some of that, but when you're going to a chiropractor, you know, typically looking somewhere between 20 and 50 bucks, and then you're going to have a few of those days already paid for you. And that could be, I go to the chiropractor now once every month, every other month. So in my case, I'd be paid for almost half the year that I go.
Mm-hmm.
Big benefit to add as an additional thing that they're throwing out there. The two, though, that I see, and I almost suggest one of these on every single plan, is the ambulance rider. So this is going to be something to cover that copay and that expense of taking an ambulance somewhere. Now, seniors are going to be ones that are more likely to, you know, end up taking the ambulance ride. Either somebody's not home to be able to take them, or they're not driving, they're too sick, too ill, something's broken, ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
You know why we use ambulances. I don't know why I got into that. But so basically this will pay from $50 to $400 ground or air using an ambulance, which is really cool. A lot of these areas that are going to be on these plans, you know, people are going to need to be able to have that flexibility to go ground or air. So that's something really
rural
cool.
areas, stuff like that.
So it's only once per day, but hopefully your clients aren't taking an ambulance ride twice in a day.
Let's hope.
But up to 4 times a year, 12 times per lifetime. And they've even lowered these rates. It ends up being somewhere under $10 for a decent benefit, which is like $250 is normally what we suggest.
Yeah.
Because it slides right into that plan and really adds almost nothing to the cost of it, where it saves them again from something that could cost $200-300.
Yes, exactly. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday is one scary thing about ambulance rides is the fact that you never know how much it's going to cost, but it's going to cost a lot. Those copays are going to be so expensive. And people even joke about like, oh, no, I don't want an ambulance ride. I'll take an Uber, or like someone else drive me, or something like that.
Heard the Uber thing recently.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes for these seniors, that can be, if you're having chest pains and stuff like that, you might need an ambulance ride. You might not. Olivia told a story about how a guy was like, no, I'll just drive myself. And, he passed away on the way there because he didn't get there fast enough, or he didn't have the care in the ambulance while he was. So anyway, that's kind of morbid, but it makes a big difference. And so being able to add that ambulance rider for not that much, they know how much they're going to cost. And that can make a big difference in their health, being able to have that option and that peace of mind to take an ambulance.
Right. And then obviously my favorite one is always going to be the cancer lump sum rider. This is something that's always just hit home with me, being a cancer survivor myself, that this is an additional rider that you can throw on there that lines up almost word for word with their standalone cancer plan. So with this, you can write them a cancer plan on the same application. It adds 5 more questions like we were talking about for the underwriting. Very simple to get through. It's a 5-year look back, just like their standalone cancer plan. And this one is something that you add on there. And when we were talking about yesterday, talking about growing your business and growing your agency, hospital indemnity plans, obviously a great way to add commissions to your agency. And then if you're adding an additional rider, this is going to be more commissions going to you guys.
Yes.
And like I said, cancer plans are something I'm always going to stand behind and say everybody needs this. So when you're looking at a Medicare Advantage client, we're saying, yes, they need hospital indemnity to take care of them. And then being able on the same application to throw a cancer plan on there as well makes it so simple. We can help you guys out with the kind of process of adding those riders. And we'll talk a little bit later about actually writing the GTL product. Super simple. Love this plan. Love everything about that rider. And just want to kind of go through these ones really quick. There's a critical accident. There's the dental vision riders on those as well. We got some information on our website about that on the brochure, smsteam.net. But we can always get that stuff over to you guys, kind of go into it a little bit more in detail as well.
Yes, and I also just want to, circling back to this cancer plan, I don't know if you said this or not. If you did, sorry. But the cancer lump sum rider, the rider mirrors the standalone plan. So if you are writing the rider, you are putting the standalone plan onto like packaging that up with the hospital indemnity plan. So it's a super easy way to get them double the kind of coverage without having to write a whole separate plan. You're just adding that rider on, which is incredible. So
right, makes it simple. That's what we always try to find for you guys, is great products for your clients. They're going to give the best coverage and make it as easy as possible for you guys, because we work for you guys. We want to help you guys out as much as we can. And this is something that we like to highlight a lot. There's a lot of cancer plans out there, but GTL is one of my favorites for a lot of different reasons. And having this availability on the same application is just
yes. Now, before we slide into our next slide, we do have a question. Does SMS have a sales worksheet to build the prospects MAPD and HIP plan? That's a great question.
Yes, we do. So I know that's something that's going to be on, I believe it's on the SMS University page, but we also have some tools and resources that I know are going to get sent out in that post follow-up email that go over different ways to say, hey, here's 3 options, good, better, and best. And that kind of goes over like, here's a standalone Medicare Advantage plan. Here are the risks of the out-of-pocket copays, everything like that. Here's the better plan, which is a Medicare Advantage plan with a hospital indemnity on there. And then the best plan, which makes me happy, is the Medicare Advantage, hospital indemnity, and a cancer plan.
Yes.
So that's something we have on there. And I meant to bring this up today. I saw when I was at Plaza Tire the other day, getting my car worked on, they even had the good, better, and best on there for oil changes.
Yeah.
They had it for different tire rotations or different car pack, like maintenance packages.
Mhm.
So that's like sales tactic or theory is out there. It's even implemented at the mechanic shop, which is really cool. That I saw that and like literally just in my brain was like, this is the hospital indemnity thing we were just talking about with the different worksheets and the different resources we have available for you guys.
Mhm.
And it's got spots on there to be able to put in the dollar amounts or how much this exact plan that they're looking at might cost them out of pocket. So super customizable for the clients, very easy to use. We have agent facing pieces, client facing pieces. We've got everything you guys would need for selling a a hospital indemnity plan with a Medicare Advantage.
Yes, and also I know that the GTL portal, I think it's a portal, their website, something like that. I can't remember what it is, but GTL has a kind of calculator that you add on, or kind of like a quoter for the hospital indemnity plan, and then adding the riders, and then, well, if we take off this rider and add this, and it kind of totals it up, so you can sit down with your client and show them right in front of them. It does the math really fast, calculates it. With this plan, if you add on this rider, if you do this, okay, that's a little bit over budget, let's take off this rider and see. So we definitely have tools that we can show you and give to you in the follow-up email, and that should be helpful. And yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So,
which is the next slide.
Yes.
I was like, ooh, yay, perfect transition. She's good at this. So with their hospital indemnity plan, they're going to make it as easy as possible for you guys to quote this. So basically, you'll log into your GTL portal. There's the quote and submit right there for you. You click on that. It's going to pull up this beautiful little thing here on the right. I ran it for myself. I am not 60 years old, but everybody in the office likes to make fun of me and say I am. So where this is you can see here, I kind of quickly selected a base plan, not going to be the most phenomenal coverage, but it's going to get me taken care of, and it's going to be affordable for me. Because if I'm looking at this plan, I drew it up for 5 days with a $300 amount, but I wanted to also have that ambulance rider on there. So I threw a $200 ambulance ride on there. So just because, look at that, it's $1.43 to add the ambulance on there.
I mean,
sure,
yeah.
I don't care, take it. But what this does is super easy. You can't break this thing, because if the dollar amounts don't change or something happens, you can just refresh and start over.
Yeah.
But if you start seeing adding or taking away a few different things, like say he was talking about, you might want, if you've decided this is what we're looking at, refresh, enter those exact ones in again. But this is an amazing tool because it tells you exactly how much you're going to be paying, and you can keep adding riders in there, keep seeing, okay, like the ambulance rider, I played around with that for a little bit because I wanted it to be under $1.50 just to show that example of getting coverage for next to nothing. And I was able to play around with that amount, and I know I wanted to spend about $25 is what I was looking at, and was just able to kind of quickly play around with that. But the GTL plan, like we said, can pair exactly with their Medicare Advantage plan. So let's say it's more of they need a 3-day coverage. Then you pop in the 3-day and say, okay, this Medicare Advantage plan for some reason charges $600. Then you go in there and put on that $600 benefit amount, see what you're working with, and then you can kind of play around with it from there. Because that's kind of the starting point that we always suggest, is match it up exactly with their Medicare Advantage plan. So this is going to be the best possible coverage, or this is going to fill those gaps that Medicare Advantage plan left behind. And then you can kind of go from there, adding stuff, taking it away. If this is something they want but can't afford, you can go down. Typically what we see is about $50 a month will give you over the top, awesome, perfect coverage to go along with the Medicare Advantage plan. Get you some riders on there, but you can get coverage, like I said, for 25, 30 bucks a month and match it up with your plan specifically. So love this quoting tool. This is one I was able to figure out while I was on the phone with Mr. Matt Beach here. He walked me through this a couple different times, because I'll ask him about it and a year later say, hey, show me that again. And it just clicks right away because it's so intuitive and so easy to use.
Yeah.
They lay everything out for you, so you're not looking for different amounts, anything like that. You can literally go through it with the client.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, and if you don't like e-apps, they do have paper applications available as well. There is a little bit more that goes into the paper application. You're plugging in dollar amounts, and there's a table below that goes into math. This is going to be by far the easiest way to do it, but like I said, it is available with a paper application as well.
Awesome. All right, you guys, that's what we have for you today. But we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. We'll be here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the questionnaire box, any comments, anything like that. We'll be hanging around for the next couple minutes, but thank you so much for joining us. If you missed yesterday's webinar or you want a recording of it, I'll go ahead and link that in the follow-up email that you will receive as well after this, as well as this recording today too, and then just some resources that we mentioned in the brochure and all that sort of stuff. But also make sure to check out our hospital indemnity, what's the word I'm looking for? Our page on our website. It has a bunch of resources on there. If you're trying to figure out how to sell hospital indemnity, or you have in the past and it just didn't seem to work, or anything that you need, we have a plethora of resources on our website, as well as a lot of videos that walk through just different things with hospital indemnity on our university page. Let's see, I had to step away a couple of times. Did you say today was recorded? Yes, today was recorded. I forgot to click record until that YGTL, but you just missed the first sort of stuff with me blabbing, so don't worry about that. But yes, it is recorded. We'll link that in the follow-up email. Let's see what else we have. Our events page, we have a lot of webinars coming up. We have 1, 2, 3 a week in the next quarter, in this quarter. So please feel free to check out our events page and see all the different things that Clayton will actually see you on a few webinars. This is one of the next like 3 or 4 that you're going to be on.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to see more of me and Sadie, we'll be here this week, this month for sure. But definitely want to check out, now that you're sold on the GTL product itself. Maybe you have this one with us, maybe you have it elsewhere, but we can always work with you on trying to get that with us, so we can help you with these pieces, help you learn how to sell this to your clients. And this is also a great prospecting tool this time of year. You've got people who sign up for Medicare Advantage plans over the phone and got the plan, that's all they know about it. This is something that you can help that client out with. And then when you're looking at next year, that's going to be your client that you're talking to.
Yes.
They'll be in your book of business. So this is something that we like to use, especially during OEP. Follow up with your clients. Make sure that they're happy with their Medicare Advantage plan. See if this is something additional if you didn't already bring it up in the first appointment. But like I said, this is an amazing product. The market mirrors GTL, because GTL is that much better.
Yes.
So definitely want to make sure that you guys are aware of the options that are available. And GTL is going to be one of our top recommendations, that if somebody's telling me they want to do Medicare Advantage business, I always bring up GTL.
Yeah.
I pull up the availability chart almost as exactly the first time that they say they want to do Medicare Advantage.
Yes.
And Bridget, I know you missed a little bit of the intro, but we'll chit chat later because I wanted to make sure that you had the login and everything for your GTL plan. But something we always do here, so don't hesitate to give us a call, ask any questions that you have. Our phone number's there. You've got people's direct lines. Give us a holler. Let's see how we can help you guys out.
Yep. Alrighty, it looks like we don't have any more questions. If you do have questions, feel free to ask us in those follow-up calls that we're going to get you, or reply back to that follow-up email that you're going to get. But thank you so much for joining us. We're really happy that you took time out of your day to kind of learn a little bit more and educate yourself a little bit more. So thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you on some webinars coming up. But yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.